Hey, what up everyone, this is MandoAllDay, back with another video. In today's video, I'll be doing a build guide for Captain America. I'll be going over the artifacts I use, medallion and insignia, as well as go over the powers, talents, and trades, hero synergies, and at the very end, show you my rotation and give you some tips and pointers as far as how I was able to pass Cosmic Trial without using any infinity points. So, let's get right into it. First thing we're going to look at are the artifacts. So the first artifact is Crossbones Teaching Credentials. I'm using this for the critical hit rating, brutal strike rating, damage rating increase to range and melee powers, +2 strength, and when you land a critical hit, gain brutal damage rating, which stacks up to 3 times. Overall, this is a really good artifact because it benefits them in every way, and also 2, it grants you extra damage to melee and range. And that's good because for this build, it is melee, but it's a bit ranged as well too. I believe it's one of his powers. And like I mentioned, depending on the build you decide to use, it's either melee and range, or you can do hybrid of both. So having this artifact is really good. And plus it gives you +2 strength because his main attributes are strength and fighting. So overall, this is a really good artifact. Next is Captain America Silver Star. I'm using this for the +5 strength, health increase, and deflect rating increase. Overall, this is a really good artifact for Captain America. Plus, it's actually his artifact. I know it's a bit hard to get and rare, so do keep that in mind, but it is obtainable. But this is what I use, and this is really good. Next I used is Juggernaut Medallion. Maybe not the best medallion for him. I'll probably use something else, but for the time being, I use this. And I'm using this for the defense rating increase, health increase, tenacity, and +1 durability. Again, not the best. I would definitely use something else, but this is what I use for my Cosmic Trial video. So next is Flag of the Skrull Empire. I'm using this for the critical damage rating increase, attack speed, 4% chance when you brutally strike to gain 3.5% attack speed increase, +3 fighting, brutal damage rating increase, and damage rating. Overall, this is a really good and strong artifact. I know many people want this one, so it can be difficult to obtain. It is doable, but just keep that in mind. Next is Hyde's formula. I'm using this for the brutal damage rating, brutal strike rating, and health increase. And when using medkit, you get granted the Hyde's formula, which increases your damage rating, defense rating, health regeneration, and you increase your size for 30 seconds and 30-second cooldown. So basically, every time you use a medkit, you increase visually and you increase your damage, defense, and health regeneration. And then for the Forge 800 defense, and I have the power of dupe. Again, I don't want to read everything, but this is a really good blessing. For legendary, I am using Savage Axe of Ares. This is an item grade 80. Keep that in mind. This is an item grade 80, and I mentioned it in my commentary video for Cosmic Trial. This is an item grade 80, but you can use 70, but this is what I used, 80. So I'm using this for the physical damage rating, critical hit rating, brutal strike rating, and brutal damage rating. And for ring, Sitting Ring, I'm using this for the critical damage rating increase, attack speed, increase to melee powers. When you hit with the melee power, gain damage rating increase, critical hit rating to melee attacks, and health increase. Ideally, if you hadn't have, personally, the one ring I would use, you can use the same insignia of Industrial City ring, but I would use the one with the increases your physical powers as opposed to just melee. So that way, my range powers can also benefit from the ring as well too. So this is what I use for now. And for slots 1 through 5, slot 1 and 2 are his uniques. And then slots 3, 4, and 5 are his cosmic items. Alright, there we go. And then for the costume, Captain America Civil War costume, which I think looks pretty cool in my opinion. And then for Catalyst, I have here that increases my 10 more credits per drop, health regeneration, regenerate 25% of your health, and 100 spirit when using medkit, which is really good and beneficial, especially for this build. +2 strength. The cosmic is after using a signature power, gain 1000 damage rating for 4 seconds. Crafted affixes, critical damage rating. Radioactive bonus, while moving, gain 500 dodge rating increase. Defense rating increase. And visual is Captain America's shield, which I think looks pretty good. Insignia. I'm using Insignia of Mockingbird. When you hit with a melee attack, you and your allies gain attack speed for 8 seconds, which is okay. but I'm using this for the critical damage rating and deflect rating. So honestly, this insignia is not the best. I would probably use something else that either grants him critical damage, critical hit rating, brutal damage, brutal strike rating, and something in the lines of those things. But this is what I use for now. And then I use the spray. You can't really see it. And for the pet, I have it to where I gain 60% base health increase, 30 extra spirit damage, increase of base physical damage. When you use your signature power, gain 1000 maximum health for 10 seconds, and +3 fighting. And then for the team up, Captain America, same costume too, which is kind of cool. Alright, the powers I use, top to bottom, left to right. Heroic Strike, Vibranium Bash, Heroic Charge, Shield Bounce, Meteor Kick, Airborne Assault, Shield Bash, Star Spangled Strike, and that's a signature, of course, and that's it. Infinity points, none were used, as I mentioned. I'll show you guys. And for those of you who are new, I just look at this number right here. If I use any points, it would show right there, but I'm using none. Hero synergies. I might have to change this too, so keep that in mind. Ant-Man for, this is what I use for my cost of trial video. I use Ant-Man for bonus and the +1 strength attribute. Cable for the critical hit rating multiplier increase. Captain America for the deflect rating and increase, Colossus for the health increase and physical damage increase. Elektra for the physical damage increase and damage to bosses. Luke Cage for the defense rating multiplier and physical damage rating increase. Moon Knight for the critical hit rating multiplier to physical powers increase. Nightcrawler for the melee power damage increase. Winter Soldier for the range power and melee power damage increase, and then Wolverine for the brutal strike and brutal damage. So again, I would definitely change some stuff. I would probably change one of them to X23 for the damage rating to bleeding versus bleeding, because I do have one of his powers that causes bleeding, so I would change that, as well as possibly change one other one for Dr. Doom, which I cannot, Dr. Doom for the signature power damage increase. So again, this is things that I would change, but for now, this is what I use for my cost of trial video. So if you're wondering how come I'm using a legendary 80 and I'm struggling, it's probably because of the medallion, which is not the best, insignia is not the best. The ring does help out just melee, but not range, and obviously change some stuff for the hero synergies, and obviously no infinity points were used. So yeah. All right. So for the talents and traits, always forget this. For the first row is Combat Search. Vibranium Bash gains the following effects. Zero generated +1. Meteor Kick gains the following effects. Always generates 5 serum regardless of current count. So basically what this talent does is Vibranium Bash, which is my A power, every time I use it, it generates 1 serum. And it's really good because this build is built based off the serum. So the more serum you have, when you activate a power that consumes your serum, it does more damage. So Vibranium Bash, which is I would say my first main spender, it generates 1 serum per hit. But also 2, with this talent, Meteor Kick gains the following effects, which generates 5 serum automatically. So all I have to do is hit an enemy and automatically Meteor Kick generates 5. So right now we have 1, it's going to generate 5. There you go. There you go, just like so. And that's that. The second row is Impenetrable talent. Indestructible shield gains the following effects. Deflect chance 100%. Automatically activates if you fall below 30% of your health. Indestructible shield, which is, I believe it's this one, right? Yeah. Basically what this talent is, it deflect chance is 100%, which is good. But the good thing about this talent that it automatically activates this power right here when you drop below 30% of your max health, which again is really good because again it automatically does it for you. So why not use this and have it automatically? So instead of having indestructible shield, you consume some of your powers in your hotbar. I really have it automatically activated. Again, it's just a personal choice. But third row is Cutting Edge. Shield Toss, Shield Bounce, and Shield Bounce apply internal wound. basically bleeding, which is does 2500 damage per second, the duration for 6 seconds, which is this one right here. So I'll show you what it looks like. So shield bounce and which other one is it? Shield bounce and shield toss, internal wound. So I'll show you what it looks like. So see, and you notice I was still doing damage, which is really good. So that's the reason I use it, because that way it does damage over time for 6 seconds. So meanwhile you can activate it. This power alone does quite a bit of damage, but having the damage over time is also even beneficial. So something that I prefer to use. Next, for the 4th row, is Serum Rush. Serum powers spend all available serum, gaining 5% damage per point spent. Meaning whenever I use a serum power, and if you want to know how you can tell it's a serum power, just hover over the power and it'll say serum. In this case, Airborne Assault, it says here melee, area, movement, and serum. There you go, that's one. Meteor Kick, melee, movement. This is not a serum power. Shield Bash, melee and area, melee, area, and serum. That's a power right there. Shield Strike, melee power. Star Spangled Strike, signature, melee, area, and serum. This is serum powers, meaning that whenever you activate the serum powers, it'll consume all serum, and each serum that it consumes, 5% extra damage. The damage is increased by 5% per serum spent, which is really good, and hence why in my Cosmo Trial video with commentary, I mentioned that this build is particularly difficult because you have to keep an eye on your serum before you activate your serum powers, because that way you can benefit. Right? And I'll go over it in a bit in terms of the rotation. And for the 5th row, I'm using is Inspiration. Apply Inspire to allies while you are in combat. Patriarch Taunt transform into Patriarch Speech. Patriarch Speak implies Empower to all allies, and it is automatically activated when Star Spangled Strike, which is a signature, is used. Buff effect used. Inspired, okay, empowered, okay, perfect. So what this means is with this talent is when you activate your signature power, it automatically it implies empowered. And the empowered buff gives you a base damage of 40% for 5 seconds, which is really good, because having that base damage increase by 40%, it's a huge buff. And the only thing is the duration is 5 seconds, so keep that in mind. But with this talent, when you activate your signature, you gain the buff of empowered, you and your allies, which increases your base damage for 40% for 5 seconds. Alright, so now let's get into the rotation. As I said, this is not really meant for new, if you're a new player and you're starting, getting into Marvel Heroes, honestly, I would probably use a different build, or probably try another character, because this build, it's a bit complex. It's more of, you have to keep an eye on serum, but at the same time look at your powers and cooldown, and at the same time look at your enemies. So the rotation, it's simple, but you'll see what I mean. You see how it gets complex. So just to get 2 things out the way, my main spender is going to be Vibranium Bash, which I mentioned, according to this talent here, it generates 1 serum per hit. But keep this in mind, this consumes spirit. So I'll show you how it looks like, and you're going to see the increase of serum. See, but it consumes spirit. So my main spender is Vibranium Bash, but I use Heroic Strike because it restores spirit. It restores 12 spirit per hit. So if I were using Vibranium Bash, and you notice my spirit is going down, now it's going up, it's because I use this. That's why I have 2 main spenders. So I mentioned I have 2 main spenders, which is my main one is Vibranium Bash, but whenever I'm low on spirit, I either use Medkit to regenerate 100 spirit, or use Heroic Strike to regenerate spirit, and then continue on with my Vibranium Bash. Alright, Meteor Strike, I won't go into too much detail, but this is really good. It does a lot of damage as is. It generates 5 serum, which is very important to know, especially for this build. But also, too, if you have 5 or more serum, damage is increased by 50%. And execute 1% damage per 1% of target's missing health, which is really good if you have more than 5 serum. So obviously, if you use Vibranium Bash, the likelihood of you having at least more than 3 serum is pretty high, because each one of Vibranium Bash generates serum each hit. Alright, and then Airborne Assault, again, I'm just reviewing the powers. Airborne Assault, a lot of damage itself. It causes vulnerability, which 10% damage received for 6 seconds, but also 2, as stated, per this talent, per serum spent, the damage is increased by 5%. The damage is increased by 5% of damage per point spent. So right now I have here, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 out of 10. So you do that 8 times 5, 40%. So if I were to activate right now Airborne Assault, the damage of this would increase by 40%, which is really, really huge. Same thing to this. If I were to activate Shield Bash, because it consumes serum, the damage would increase by 40%. You know, that's why this build is a bit complex, because you have to keep an eye out. Alright, so that's that. Airborne Assault, it's great power, does good area damage, and I don't want to read too much into it since I know I'm sure this video is long as is. So the serum power. So my 2 serum powers are Airborne Assault and Shield Bash. And Shield Bounce, you can just get this out the way, use it whenever you can. It does range, it does quite a bit of damage, but also 2, it does damage over time, which, if you remember correctly, it causes Shield Bounce causes applies internal wound, with 2500 damage over a duration of 6 seconds. So 2 things. These are my main spenders. Vibranium is my main one. If I'm low in spirit, use Heroic Strike. Once you have enough spirit, then go back to Vibranium Bash to regenerate serum. And Shield Bounce, use it whenever you can. Whenever it's available, use it, because it does a lot of damage as is, and you get that internal wound. Alright, now I get that out of the way. Let's get into the rotation. What do I do? Alright, so the way, it's easy, but I'm going to show you a basic rotation. So what you want to do is obviously generate your serum. One way to start it is use Meteor Strike, because it generates automatically 5. Because according to this talent here, is it right? No, the first one, Meteor Kick gains 5. It generates 5 serum. So that's important to know, because again, the first thing you want to do is have serum. Always you want to be regenerating or have full maxed out. So the first thing I would do in my rotation is activate Meteor Kick to have serum, and then from there I would activate Airborne Assault. Either Airborne Assault or Meteor Bash. It's really up to you. So right now we'll do Airborne Assault. This is right next to it. So Meteor Kick and then Airborne Assault. And then main spender Vibranium Bash to generate, and then Shield Bash, Meteor Kick, Airborne Assault, and just keep doing the main spender, and then do it again. So just to go over it, Meteor Kick just to get 5 serum. After that, use Airborne Assault. Go back to your main spender Vibranium Bash. Once you generate enough serum, use your other serum power to consume it on the serum, increase the damage, which is Shield Bash, and then once there, activate your Meteor Kick to regenerate 5, and if you want to do Vibranium Bash more to continue getting more serum, or activate your Airborne Assault. I'll show you one more time. So Meteor Kick, Airborne Assault, main spender, right there, boom. And obviously, as I mentioned, Shield Bounce, use it whenever you can, like right now it's available, perfect, and then do my rotation. Spender, do it again. Meteor Kick. Meteor Kick, Airborne Assault, main spender, bounce, and then I'm out of spirit, so you just do this, boom. See that? It's fairly easy. Again, it's fairly easy, but it's a bit complex, because you have to look at both. I mean, all 3 things. You got to look at your powers, the cooldown, which power is available, as well as serum, and look at the enemies around you. Okay, so that's that. So just reiterate again. First thing I would do is activate Meteor Kick to get that 5 serum. After that, either Airborne Assault or Shield Bash, it doesn't matter, just as long as you use a power that consumes serum. After that, you can continue with a Vibranium Bash to regenerate serum, and then after that, activate your other serum power, and then from there, hopefully your meteor kick cooldown is no longer there. You can activate meteor kick and then your other serum power. So basically, what it is it's generating serum, using serum power to generate serum, use the serum power, and then all over again. Generate serum, use serum power, all over again. Generate serum, use your serum power, and do it all over again. It's basically the concept and the rotation is you have to constantly keep regenerating, but what makes it complicating, as mentioned, that you have to keep an eye on your cooldown powers, which one's available, as well as you get to look at your serum, how much you have, and look at the enemies or enemy that's around you, so that way you don't die and so forth. So it gets a little bit complex, but trust me, once you get used to the rotation and get used to everything, it isn't that difficult. It does quite a bit of damage. Okay, so let's continue with the rotation. So that was first rotation. The second rotation would include signature. So when do you activate signature? Honestly, since this is serum power, my biggest advice is use signature when you have full maxed out serum. Because that way, when you activate your signature power, the damage is increased by 10, how much was it? 5% each serum? Yeah, 5%, so 10 times 5 is 50%. So 50% more, your signature power will do 50% more damage due to using maxed out serums. Okay, so you can do the same rotation, just when you go and activate signature, I highly recommend having full maxed out serum. That way you can benefit from that extra damage, and your signature power can even do more damage. Now, another thing to note, this is where it gets, again, with my particular build, it gets complicating, is that remember, his catalyst grants you 1000 damage rating for 4 seconds when you activate signature. So my another advice would be is when you I'll show you guys in a bit, but when you have full maxed out serum, I would advise, if you have a catalyst similar to this, I would advise that you have fully maxed out serum and all your powers are not in cooldown, so that way when you use your signature power, it consumes all your serum and you can just start all over again. Meteor kick, Vibranium bash once, and then do your other serum power, because your signature, when you activate signature, not only do you get a buff from your catalyst, which is 1000 damage rating for 4 seconds, but also you get this here, and you get patriarch speech implies empowered, which again, this buff that grants you 40% extra damage for 5 seconds. So having the combination of what do you call it, of the signature buff as well as the catalyst buff, when you activate signature, it's a win-win. You're going to do a lot of damage. So again, this is just a little extra side tip per se, is that if you have a catalyst that grants you 1000 damage rating for 4 seconds when you use signature, I would highly recommend that all your powers are not in cooldown and you have maxed out serum, so that way when you activate your signature power, which is a serum, it consumes all your serum, and all you have to do is meteor kick, get 5 serum, maybe do one or two hits of Vibranium bash, do a serum power, and just do Vibranium bash and do another serum power. That way you take a full advantage of both buffs, which is the catalyst and the signature. So I'll show you how it looks like. So we're going to do the first rotation, simple. We'll do, like, we're going to play normally, and then after, we'll do, after two activations of serum powers, we'll just generate serum, and then we'll do signature, and then I'll show you what I mean. So here we go. That way it makes sense. Here we go. I'm sure the buff is over now. See what I mean? It's like that. It's the same rotation. It's quick, but again, you take advantage of the buff from the signature and the catalyst, and combined together, your power is going to do a lot of damage. It's a short burst of buff, so you have to be quick with it. That's why I said this build is a bit complex, but I would highly recommend it. What makes it much easier and it helps me a lot is, before I activate signature, make sure my powers are not in cooldown and I have a full maxed out serum, so when I do signature power, it consumes all my serum and I can right away activate meteor kick, get 5 serum, maybe do 1 or 2 hits with Vibranium bash and use a serum power, and then from there use Vibranium Bash, generate as much serum as possible for a short time, other serum power, and then unfortunately that's it. That's all you get for the buff, because again the buffs are short. I mean, the good thing about this buff, the signature, is it's quite a lot. I mean, you get 40% for 5 seconds, which is good, but the catalyst is 4 seconds, and according to this here, I could be wrong, maybe I'm misreading or something, but the duration of his buff is 8 seconds, so it's good. You can increase your damage rating, deflect, and defense rating by 1500 for 8 seconds, which is good. So yeah, so keep this in mind. But that's the way I would approach it when I'm using my signature. And just to read it one more time, I'll show you guys rotation, simple, meteoric kick, get 5 serum, maybe do 1 Vibranium Bash, serum power, Vibranium Bash, generate serum, use another serum power, and then a rotation again. Shield bounce, use it whenever it can, whenever it's available, use it, because it does range, it hits enemies automatically, and it causes internal wound. And whenever you're low on spirit, use heroic strike, regenerate spirit. Once you have enough spirit, continue with the rotation. And then when you're going to use signature, make sure your powers are not in cooldown, you have all maxed out serum, activate signature, and do the rotation again. Alrighty, and again, it's simple, it is, but when you start playing and you have a lot of enemies, like for instance Cosmic Trial, even if you watch my Cosmic Trial video and you hear me in the commentary, it's difficult because I'm looking at my enemies, I'm looking at my health, I'm looking at my little bit of my spirit, my powers, the serum, all at the same time. So it's one of those things where you have to keep looking. It's a bit complex, it's not that difficult, but once you get an understanding of it and the feel of it, it becomes almost second nature. So yeah, and yeah, this is my build guide for Captain America. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a bit, I'm sure it's a bit long and thorough, but again, I rather explain it in detail as much as possible. That way you get a fully understanding of this particular build, how it works, and why I mentioned that this is a bit more complex. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Any requests for certain characters, leave it in the comment section below. I will be uploading a video on Friday, giving you guys some tips as far as how to get Odin marks, because I found, I don't want to say a trick, but a good way to farm Odin marks, which takes about 45 minutes or so, depending on the items you have and so forth. That if you join a group of 5 who have really strong characters, I kid you not, this method of doing, granting for or farming for Odin marks, it's easy, it's great, good way to level up your legendary item 80. And in the video, I'll show you, I get about almost 1,000 Odin marks within the span of like 45 minutes or so. So I'll show you that on Friday. At the same time, I'll be doing my Q&A number 3. So it'll be 2 videos, in a way, like 2 videos in one. It's Odin marks farming, as well as my Q&A number 3, which I'll go over my opinion on the whole console release, which is Marvel Heroes Omega, and some thoughts about it, that as well as other questions. And yeah, again, this is my build guide for Captain America. If you enjoyed it, leave it in the comment section below. If it was helpful for you guys, leave it in the comment section below. Any requests, again, leave it in the comment section. If you want to support the channel and you want to keep up to date with my channel, please do subscribe to my channel, because not only does it help the channel grow, but also means a lot to me as well. And yeah, that's it. This is my build guide for Captain America. Until the next one. Bye-bye.